Hey, we're back with more of Grandpa's old home movies. Here we've got a Cletrac AG6 unloading off a trailer. I really enjoy this part because those planks were pretty much worthless because of the size of the tracks, and they didn't stand a chance, as well as you can see. Cletrac was bought by Oliver. That's where Oliver got his crawler line from. So I'm assuming we most likely sold this. I believe that's an AG. Well, or it could be an AD, just gas or diesel. But the most of these videos are of plowing competitions. Here they're loading up, getting ready to head out, and this is right out in front of the dealership. That AG is loaded, or a dozer crawler is loaded up on a trailer with a plow. I believe this is a nearby farmer. They're still farming in the area. Their semi with a couple different things, a couple tractors, a couple plows on that, getting ready to head out. I have no idea who this guy is, but this is in the road right out front. I do recognize that. There's trees are bigger now and everything. You can see the 4-H flag flying there. So this was a 4-H sponsored event, and it was as much a learning event as it was a competition. Kind of get the younger ones trained in the proper setup and techniques of using a plow, and then the ones that were going to compete would later on get their section of land to compete with. This time the old Cletrac A, they I guess there's some planks there, but the ground was the right angle and everything that it didn't destroy the planks. I'm not sure where this is at. Someone's farm that donated ground to let people plow on for this 4-H event. And I do believe this is an Oliver 70. I'm gonna guess this is somewhere in the late 40s. This particular contest event does not have any Fleetline Olivers at it. This plow here is an Oliver TNT plow, and they called it that because it was designed to break up the hard pan that plows would leave. You can just see the TNT label on it. Add a little subsoiler bottom behind each main bottom to help break up that hard pan. They didn't go over terribly well because a 2-bottom plow would pull as hard as a 3-bottom because of those subsoiler shanks, and when you drop from 3 to 2 bottoms, you lost a third of your productivity in a day. So back then that was a big difference. The old cars are neat in here. Don't recognize any of those faces. Oh, here's the crawler out plowing. Quite sure that's an Oliver plow. A little bit of everybody plowing that day. They're all pretty much plowing on the same land here. I think this was setup time and practice time. I'm sure some of you will recognize the other brands of stuff, and maybe you can put down in the comments what you're seeing. I just know the Oliver stuff. Here's that 70. This young boy on that tractor. Depends on which one of them boys is, but he was pulling that 270. But he's a retired farmer now, if it's the one I'm thinking of. Always tweaking and adjusting. I think that might have been one of our mechanics. But right there, the two ladies and the young boy, I think that was my grandmother, my aunt, and my dad. It'll come up here again in just a moment. There's there they are. That's I'm pretty sure that's my dad there in the hat. I didn't know him when he was that young. Here this plow or this tractor and plow are set up. They're kind of giving the ins and outs of it, and they've got the tractor up on blocks to simulate the angle it would sit at in a field and explain why they set it up the way they do. Oh, there we go. That's my aunt and my dad again, I'm quite sure. My grandmother. Sure looks like him anyways. Once again, the plow's up on blocks, land wheels up, and simulates where the plow would be setting without it actually having to be in the ground, so they can explain things better. Ladies in pants. That was probably pretty rare back then, because plowing competitions were a social event. And a lot of times people would dress up pretty nice to go to them. These guys here, they're brave. Of course, clips are short. You know, it wasn't like having your phone back then where you could record for an hour, or with a GoPro or something with a lot of memory. It costs money to send that film in and get it developed. So clips here, clips there. Oh, that's an Oliver plow. It's like a Plowmaster. I'm just amazed that it's in color for as old as it is. Some of the stuff needs speed corrected some. I'd done some with it when I first transferred this onto the computer. Done a lot of work. Now it would probably be a lot quicker with a lot better, faster computers that we have now. Oh, yeah, that's one thing my software did, was would occasionally throw a little chunk in again. I just need to get these redone. Here's a exhibition pass, I would call it, just for everybody plowing all at once. Give you a parade of the different contestants. Here's the 70, there's the TNT plow again. You watch real close, you might have to rewind, but you look right in front of the tail wheel of the plow and you can see the subsoiler kicking up soil right behind the main bottom. I would say these are the judges. They're actually going to get down to the actual competition part of the event. That dark blue black sedan look, just everybody seemed to have that back then. Kind of the whole Henry Ford, any color you want as long as it's black. But now we got the contest rolling. I swear Grandpa was riding on a horse when he shot this part. Kind of bouncy. But each contestant got a set amount of land to plow. Then they had a block of time to plow it in, so they could stop and go as they wished. They were judged on different criteria, like right now they're striking out their land, and you want to keep it straight, you want to keep your depth even, you don't want any residue on top. Back then they didn't. So they'd go down, they'd come back, keep going around, try to keep it nice and straight, keep it even. They got a judge judging each one, making notes, comparisons. Other things that they judged on was the evenness of the headlands, like right there where they're dropping the plow in. You want to keep that as straight as possible. The straight going across the field, well, if you get crooked, your furrows don't fill in good. And it's more than just a matter of pride. It's a matter of a field that's smoother to work, and the next pass with a disc or whatever and your planter is going to work better if you get your field plowed good in the first place. The headlands make a big difference. If they're really uneven when you're plowing your headlands, you have to drive across those bumps, that unevenness, and I've done that before, cleaning up after a plow day I've had at my place, that it makes you bounce a lot. So there are reasons for it. And so you can stop, make adjustments to your plow, you can make adjustments on the go. You can have stakes to sight by to help keep yourself straight. But if you use up all your time and you don't get your plot fully plowed, you can lose points. Now we're getting close to the dead furrow part, which is where you're plowing out from each direction. And there's an art to that, because you want to get everything turned under, but if you're not careful, where the two sides come together, you can plow a very deep trench, and no one wants that. So they were judged on that, on how well they cleaned it up. If it wasn't straight, then you have to make extra passes to go finish it up, and you end up with tire tracks across your field, which the neighbors are going to laugh at, stuff like that. So they definitely had things they were watching for, different points that they would add up, and that's how they would finally announce the winner, is by the number of points that each contestant got for the job they did. These are the dead furrows of different ones. Some look a little smoother than others, and that would definitely, and a little straighter. That one's got a little crookedness to it. And those are things that make the difference between the winner and the loser. They're all doing nice jobs, but there's little details that can make the difference. Here we have some more footage of lands getting struck out, as they call it, that first pass. This looks a lot like our soil in our area. Sandy, turns over nice, plows up really good. So I still think this is one of the local competitions here. And a lot of the same tractors. Well, here's one for all you John Deere fans. Putt, 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 putt. Here's where Grandpa decides to have some fun with the camera. More dead furrows. Why, that's one of the ladies from earlier competing. Oh, this is from a wagon. They're pulling a wagon with a load of people around to watch the competition. Maybe that's where Grandpa shot his shaky footage from. Seems it'll be a little more steady here. This pretty much just about wraps up for this chunk here. Some local faces that maybe some of the older people in my neighborhood that watch these, maybe you'll recognize some of the faces. But hey, appreciate everybody watching. Oh, loading back up. It's time to go home. Thanks again.